Still there, we are live. Okay, let's get started then. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 25th Bold School Board meeting. So we'll call the meeting to order here at 7:00 p.m. Roll call, we have all board members present except Tracy Buchtel at this current time. And we have 9 members in the audience here, plus Amy Schmidt, and several guests online with us. So welcome to the board meeting. So before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I'll read the mission statement. Our mission statement is to provide all learners in the Bold community an education designed to develop the creativity, character, confidence, and skills essential to flourish in a changing global society. So with that, would everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there a motion to approve our agenda? So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Johnson to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to vote on approving the agenda as the updated printout. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to approve the agenda. All right, thank you for everyone for coming tonight to the board meeting. It's nice to see active participation by the community in the district, so thank you for being here tonight. With that, we'll move on to item 5, our public forum. The public forum's on the agenda for our regular board meetings. During this part of each regular school board meeting, times allowed for district constituents to address the school board. Pursuant to policy 206, section 6, the board will make every effort to allow district constituents to speak, but may limit discussion to ensure all business is addressed for the interest of the district. This is a time of listening by the school board. Is there anyone present that would like to speak? Okay, with that, we will move on from the public forum to part 6, our consent items.
I have a question. We received that email and we have a constituent that wanted that email to be read out loud.
So
Do we have to do that?
we don't have to do that because we get lots of emails over the past and we've never read one before, and it would be setting a precedent that's not.
Okay.
And it's public record that
They
Correct.
asked, I thought I better mention it.
they asked, but it's public record that they sent us an email, and
Okay.
so. It's a good question, Teresa. Item 6, so consent items. Is there a motion to approve the consent items? 1 is to approve our bills for payment, and 2, to approve our minutes from the August 28, 2023 regular school board meeting.
So move, Benson.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the 2 consent items on the agenda. Is there any discussion? Okay, no discussion or questions, then we'll move to vote. All in favor of approving the bills for payment and the minutes from the August 28th, 2023 regular school board meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the consent items. All right, now we will move on to section 7, personnel. Approve hiring Nadine Johnson as a special ed paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second, Johnson.
Okay, it's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Johnson to approve hiring Nadine Johnson as a special ed paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll move to vote. Because it's hiring, we'll do our roll call vote as we usually do. Member Sheehan?
Aye.
Member Jacobs?
Aye.
Member Benson?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Johnson?
Aye.
And I as member Frank am an aye as well. So the motion carries unanimously to approve hiring Nadine Johnson as a special ed paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay. Number 2, accept the resignation of Carol Tisdall, paraprofessional, effective August 28th, 2023. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Bowen to accept the resignation of Carol Tisdall, paraprofessional, effective August 28, 2023. Any discussion?
I was just wondering, after 20-some years, she resigned, but she's not retiring? Is there a reason, or where she's going, or what she,
She went to a non-special ed position in another district.
really? After 20-some years, she decided to move? Well, I just want to tell her thank you for all the years
Yeah,
she's
thank
been
you.
here. Really appreciate that.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move to vote, and this will just be a voice vote as it's a resignation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries to accept the resignation of Carol Tisdall, paraprofessional, effective August 28, 2023. Okay, item 3, approve hiring Nancy Schoen as a substitute paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Johnson.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Johnson to approve hiring Nancy Schoen as a substitute paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we will move to vote. This will be a roll call vote as it's a hiring. Member Johnson.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Benson.
Aye.
Member Jacobs.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well. The motion carries to approve hiring Nancy Schoen as a substitute paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay, item 4, approve Melissa Hanze as it should read as the assistant varsity dance coach for the 2023 through 2024 school year.
So moved, Jacobs.
Is there a second?
Second, Benson.
It's been moved by member Jacobs and seconded by member Benson to approve Melissa Hanze as the assistant varsity dance coach for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion? Just a question, does that fill all the dance coach positions?
I believe it does, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, we'll move to vote on that. Do a roll call vote again. Member Sheehan?
Aye.
Member Jacobs?
Aye.
Member Benson?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Johnson?
Aye.
And member Frank is an aye as well on that. So we have approved unanimously Melissa Hanze as the assistant varsity dance coach for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay, item 5, approve the resignation of Carrie Stry, administrative assistant, effective September 21st, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Benson, seconded by member Bowen to approve the resignation of Carrie Stry, administrative assistant, effective September 21st, 2023. Any discussion?
One question. Didn't we just hire her like a month ago? She
did.
staying in the district or is it going elsewhere? She came and she went.
Yes. Nothing to do with the district, just
Oh,
personal.
okay.
Any further discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move and it'll be a voice vote. All in favor, say aye to approve the resignation of Carrie Stry, administrative assistant, effective September 21st, 2023.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries to approve the resignation of Carrie Stride, Administrative Assistant, effective September 21st, 2023. All right, the last one, item 6, is to approve hiring Eliza Gonzalez as a paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Is there a motion? Jacobs, is a motion, a second?
So moved, Benson.
It's been moved by member Jacobs and seconded by member Benson to approve hiring Eliza Gonzalez as a paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Any discussion? Just a question on our pairs. No, are we have all our pair positions filled yet?
We can always use a few.
More, so
A few
we take
more,
a few more.
I
Okay,
believe we're short 3 yet.
3. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move to vote. It'll be a voice vote. Member Johnson?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Benson?
Aye.
Member Jacobs?
Aye.
And Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And Member Frank, I am an aye as well. The motion carries to approve hiring Eliza Gonzalez as a paraprofessional for the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay, let's move on to section 8, reports. Jim, you're first with the superintendent report.
All right, thank you. I'll pass these out real quick. Just got these in the mail from MSBA on upcoming school board learning opportunities for your browsing. I've got the MASA, the Minnesota Association of School Administrator Conference coming up. And excited to go to that. The 2 that I've been to have been fantastic so far. So the tax calculator has been up for a week or so. We really tweaked it to make sure that it's more than just a plain calculator that's up there. We've added some explanations and ran it past a few citizens to have them take a look at it, give some feedback, and so far that's going well. But if you want to see what a potential referendum cost would be as of today, things fluctuate, of course. As of today, that's where you can go online, and that's on our website. If you go under the referendum tab, about halfway down the screen. Substitute teachers, we had an interesting development with substitute teachers. We started a program last summer to recruit new subs who only have 2-year degrees. So we're able to take someone that doesn't have a 4-year degree, as long as it's a 2. We do a little training with them, and then they become licensed to sub in the district. That's great. As per the state, since we're part of this program, we're now, because of the legislation that got passed last summer, we are paying $200 a day for substitutes because we have to by law now. So you probably saw something about that later in the agenda, but that's why that initial $200 fee was on there, cost was on there, because we don't have any choice in the matter. I'll mention 2 right now, just because we're talking about it. We did propose that if a substitute does more than 25 days subbing in the district, we'll bump that up, and then bump it up again after subbing for 60 days. So if you have questions on that, we can talk about that in a little bit here. And then just real quick, we had last Wednesday, we did a meeting in Bird Island, a tour of the building, and answered questions pertaining to our facilities. We'll do another one here Wednesday in Olivia, and another one in Olivia on October 15th. That's a Sunday. This Wednesday's is at 7:00, and again, here in the cafeteria. And then the Sunday one, I believe, is at 6:00. I posted it on our Facebook page, so you can find that up on there.
quick question. You
Yeah.
said after 20 some days, and here it says 31.
Oh, maybe we put 30, yeah. Oh,
31.
30, yep.
Okay, so
So after subbing 30
31
days,
days.
yep.
okay.
We've got, most of the people that sub here are subbing in the area. They're not just bold substitutes. So it's a little way to thank the ones that are kind of focusing their time here. And they're hard to find. So I would say one of the most stressful things in the building for the last couple of years is finding substitute teachers. So this is a blessing in disguise, I think. Yes, it's going to be a little more expensive, but working with Amy, we can certainly afford this. And we're already finding a lot of people that are saying, yeah, I'll come back and sub. So a lot of people that maybe they don't work on Monday or they don't work on Friday, they're willing to come in one of those days. And those are kind of a couple of our bigger days when we typically need subs too. So that's kind of nice.
Question for you about the review and comment. Have we heard back? And then are we going to have a work session and a public meeting?
Yes. We don't have the public meeting scheduled, but we'll do the work session and so that got posted in the paper 2 weeks ago. So
About the work session?
no, the review and comment itself.
Anything else, Jim?
Oh, that's
it? Okay. Then let's move on to item B, our K-12 principal report. That should be in Hoosier Field packet. Brett's not present tonight, so any questions by a board member on that? You can ask Jim here maybe, or I'm sure Brett's always available.
I have a couple questions. So, I wanted to bring up about the Warrior Way. So that's K through 12, right? The emphasis on being a warrior in the Warrior Way, and that's kind of throughout the whole school. And also, at every ball game, we sing the national anthem.
are you asking if we do?
Yes,
Yes,
we do.
yeah.
I'm just stating the
Oh,
obvious.
yep.
I'm stating the obvious. Is there a reason why we are not doing the Pledge of Allegiance in the high school and the junior high? When we talked about that when the handbook was being made and it's still not being done.
I will ask him. I think you said last time that it wasn't a problem, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the reason I bring that up, I just feel like if we're going to really emphasize the Warrior Way and how to be a good warrior throughout the whole school, and we're giving tribute to our war veterans, singing the national anthem at every single game, and we're saying the Pledge of Allegiance K through 6th grade, I feel that it's very important that we follow through with junior high and high school.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that and I'll send you his response or have him respond directly.
And then another question is there a reason why now we're doing homecoming during the day and concerts and stuff during the day? Because I've spoken with some parents and it's really hard for them to get off work, even if it's during a lunch hour, it's like it's their lunch hour also.
So when I was principal, we switched it to happening during the day because I guess I firmly believe that this is a student activity. The students are voting for their fellow students to honor them. And I think it's important that the students are all able to be there. And so we did make that change, I think 4 years ago. I was talking to Dana Bowen today, and evidently last year it was at night again, is that, okay.
I know it wasn't very well attended by students.
And maybe this, so if he noticed that, he didn't tell me that we were going to switch it back, I just, yeah.
Well, like even
I
the
have no
concerts
question.
during the day too, when the little kids are pulled out of classroom when they could probably be learning still, and the concert could be at night, so the parents could attend it or be more well attended for the parents.
Yeah, I'll ask him that too. I don't,
I agree, because we're already given all these extra days off, times off and days away from kids. Afternoons for the teachers, and yet then we're gonna be pulling them out for some of these things. I just don't agree with that. I don't feel like that's fair to the kids missing all this more educational time.
Yeah, I will pass it on. I can't answer why, and
I questioned it too with Jim, and I was at the coronation today, and I gotta admit that it was nice to look back. The whole bleachers were full, and the level was full, and it was a nice loud crowd. I guess I changed my mind. I guess I didn't have a problem with it.
yeah,
It
because
was- it's
you came
hard.
in and
Yeah.
attacked me about it.
Tackle, wrong word.
Inside joke, sorry. And so, yeah, it's an activity for the students, the coronation, and it's nice when parents are able to get there, but it's about kids. It's not about old people.
I know in 2021, they did it at night out by the track because it was.
Oh, because of the COVID,
was-
yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
everybody had to be spread out and only the members of the families could go and you couldn't be by anybody. And they stood out on the track in the cold and,
Yeah,
but that's because they weren't in classes. They weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were, they couldn't all go in the gym and watch it be done. And then last year it was in the evening again, but then, like I said, they had some chairs on the floor and everybody fit in immediately because it was just basically the parents of the people who were the attendants and the people that were up for homecoming and a few students, but not very many students were there. So I agree. I think it's a student activity. And if parents think it's important, then they'll find the time to get there.
Or they might not, if, it's not necessarily if they feel it's important, but
Well, I
some of
mean,
them
if
just
they-
can't, and
they can
we
make it,
do
they can make
understand that. And we try to live stream all this stuff now as much as we can, and so that was available on Facebook Live.
And that's recorded, so then it can be played, correct?
Yes.
To the live
Yeah,
stream.
you should be able to see
Yeah.
that on the Facebook page again too, so. But that's, to answer your question, that's why I shifted it years ago. And I can't speak for Brett, but I would assume that's why he brought it back.
I just think it's taking that extra time away from the kids again for education. I mean, I get that it's a student
Yeah.
thing, but we can make a lot of things student things, and then pretty soon we don't have any class at all.
But when you aren't part of the educational process, it's easy to look at, and then this has been my answer to so many questions lately. It's easy to look at something and say, well, why don't you do this? This is stupid. You should do it this way. But when you're working as with the school as a whole, a lot of things happen for a really good reason that it's hard to explain. And I was talking with someone today, just talking about how important it is to see this as a system rather than just simply thinking that the school is just a simple little thing. It's a system, like our body is a system. And the example I used today was if you walk for a while on a sidewalk that's slanted, it doesn't take too long for your feet to start to hurt. And then you start to feel it in your knees, you feel it in your hips. And even after you get onto that flat sidewalk again, you might be walking differently now. And that can cause your shoulders hurt, give you neck pain. And if somebody went out there and said, well, we need to flatten these sidewalks out to fix neck pain, that would sound awfully ridiculous. But when you look at this as a system of different things operating together, suddenly things take on different meanings. Suddenly you start to see things in a different way. And just a lot of the things that we do here, we do have good reasons for doing them. I constantly ask Brett about the elementary schedule because I don't understand it. And he just says, trust me, and I do. So I realize that there's a lot that goes into that I just don't get because I'm used to the high school side of things. Sorry, that's my soapbox there.
Okay. Let's move on then to item C, the activities report, which is enclosure 3 in the packet. So, any questions on that? Derek is always available via email to answer questions. Okay, nothing. Let's move on then to item D, which is our community education report. That's enclosure number 4 in the packet. Any questions on that?
I was wondering if we could consolidate these two programs into just one, instead of having a separate goal community ed and a wellness YMCA, maybe we could save some money.
Well, the YMCA doesn't cost us anything.
Is there a reason why they can't just take over and do more of the community ed parts, and then we don't?
Maybe. The biggest part of our community ed is, the vast majority of the community ed budget is right across the hall here in the pre-K. Oh, you taking over the pre-K? Is that what you're saying?
The YMCA run the pre-K.
No, well, no, I thought with the pre-K, that can probably operate on its own, but having just YMCA just be community ed, period, just do everything, especially if it's free.
So what part of the community ed stuff does Derek Flan do then? Just, he's in charge of
He's-
PFE and that's it?
He's basically their administrator over there.
Okay.
He helps with everything they do over there.
Okay.
I don't have an answer planned here, so I can put a list together outside of here if you'd like.
So the YMCA does all this here, all that's on the list.
Right.
They take care of all this.
And they offer other programs that people sign up for, and they're part of it.
So realistically, this here section is just YMCA, not both community ed. So there's really no community ed stuff on here.
I guess I haven't looked at it.
My understanding is those are all both community ed programs, right?
I think that,
And then the YM, what?
That is all.
That is all the bold, yeah, community ed.
yeah, I think
There's
this all,
no
now that you say
YMCA
that,
stuff.
yeah, this is all board stuff.
So that's where my question comes in, is the reason why the YMCA can't do the flag football, the volleyball clinic, the dance clinic, and the fun run.
I don't have an answer. I can look into that.
We can
Yeah,
cut some
it's-
costs there.
It's nice getting the questions ahead of time, because then I could bring you an answer here. But I can look into that and email it to you.
You'll email the whole board that,
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't,
Jim? Yeah. Just clarifying this. Any other questions on the community ed report? All right. Then let's move on to item E, our pool report. That's enclosure number 5. Any questions on the pool report? And Tracy's contact information is there again as always, if any questions. Looks like we're inching closer to the pool reopening based on the report.
yeah, I think it's an optimistic expectation to that maybe it's open in November, but they're plugging away. We're just waiting. We have been waiting for the electric to get all their things here that they needed. Valley's been great to work with. It's just so much of this stuff takes forever to get shipped, and there's not much we can do with that. But they've got the little the walk-in cooler installed to house the electrical and all of that. And I see yesterday they had a panel inside it, just kind of sitting by the wall, hadn't been wired up yet, but we're getting there. Nothing goes fast.
Let's move on then to item F under reports, our facilities report. Denny, it's enclosure number 6, and Denny put that together with some projects that have been done this past month. Any questions on facilities? Okay, with that, we'll move on to item G, our school board committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report? So, I have one quick. The Ag Advisory Committee did meet and there have quite a few ideas to get FFA more integrated into the, with the younger grades now and open it up to the junior high. And then the other item is there's a community FFA breakfast this coming Wednesday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. And they would love to see as many people out of the community come and be part of that, so.
Yeah, I encourage people to come. They do a good job. It's a huge fundraiser for the FFA. I'll have a little information to give out on the Ag to School credit to people that go there. But yeah, it's the kids do a good job putting into getting things cooked up.
And it's here.
It'll be here in the wood shop is where they're serving at.
Are they gonna serve in the wood shop this year?
Yes.
Okay,
That was my understanding,
it's way cleaner.
so.
You can just go in the back door here like usual.
Yeah, you come in the
Yeah.
parking lot and come in the,
Okay,
on the east side, through the, I think there's a walk-in door and an overhead door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see it. And then you'll see the smoke coming out. Depending on the color of it, you may not wanna come in.
So, any other committee reports at this point? All right, let's then move on to our new business, section 9. Item A is our second reading of policy 414, which is the mandated reporting of child neglect or physical or sexual abuse. There's a typo there, it should say sexual abuse. It's enclosure number 7 in the packet. So just know the next meeting here on October, was it 25th we meet next? 23rd, sorry, October 23rd, we'll have our final reading on this policy and it'll come up for vote to approve it at the October meeting. So any questions on?
I was kind of looking that over too, and on, number 4, I'm not even sure what are sympathiomimetic medications? Is that for like HD 80 or whatever? Is that what that is? And then number 5, are we going to be looking at prenatal exposure to a controlled substance used by a mother? I mean,
So-
how far are we gonna be going into?
So this is all what's recommended by MSBA that we
Wow.
put in here to, the things that, there's a lot of stuff that gets included in these for metro area schools that we probably don't have to deal with out here. And simply because MSBA put something together, we don't have to follow it word for word, but unless we had a good reason to not put something in, and after running it by our attorney to make sure we shouldn't have it in there, or we can take it out, then we could make some changes on that. But I don't see why. I agree, it seems like we're going on a deep dive here, but this stuff happens more in the metro, but certainly outside here.
And then also in, on number 5, that's still in enclosure 7. Number 5, 500 investigation, A. It says school officials may not disclose to the parent or legal custodian regarding the contents of the notification or any other related information regarding the interview until notified and written by a local welfare law enforcement agency, even if it's a minor, and the parents aren't gonna know if they're gonna.
There are certain things that we can and certain things that we can't. Because if it's a criminal activity, I think the police need to get there. Our job is not the investigating of this, but it would be contacting the police and then they would contact the families.
So we'd have to really be careful if you're gonna allege that somebody is suspected of neglect or physical sexual abuse. You're
No,
gonna-
you'd be a mandated reporter.
Yeah, we have to report
Except the
that.
school wouldn't do the investigation.
No, I understand that. I'm just wondering, like, when the parents aren't gonna be notified, how sticky that's gonna get.
It can, but it's in there for a reason.
Okay, well, And the same was underneath number 6, maintenance of school records concerning abuse or potential abuse, and I put minors again with a question mark. School officials may not disclose to the parent, legal custodian, or guardian contents of the notice or any other related information regarding the interview until notified in writing. So they can interview minors without parents knowing it.
It could be the parent is doing it.
Well, yeah,
So this allows us to maintain the kid's safety and yeah, it,
just as long as it's gonna be sticky, I think, with alleging that that's going on with the parent or in the parents, unless it's a child being at a friend's house and it's happening, but coming home and it's, you know what I mean? It can get really, really
this
sticky.
just,
I would
this
think.
covers us in case. And it happens. I've had to deal with that as principal. I know Mr. Benson has, and sometimes you just need to let the authorities do their job and we just get out of their way.
Any other questions around the enclosure 7, the policy 414? So please look over it, and if you do have any suggested changes, I ask that you bring those up for the next meeting so that we can incorporate it into what we would potentially approve prior to the meeting,
Yeah,
so that we're not trying to edit at the meeting.
right, because we do want our attorney, if there are changes, we would just simply not approve it at that meeting and then I would run it past the
Yeah,
attorney.
we'd have to allow the time for that.
But at this point, we can't really make changes if MSBA is bringing those policies in, we're just supposed to go ahead and approve them without editing.
No, not at all. But what I was saying is they're writing these very broadly because they're dealing with, you know, the tiniest charter schools to the, to Anoka where they've got 1 million students. So,
Correct. And the other part is, when you look at the legal references on the back of the Minnesota statutes, we gotta make sure that we don't make a change that is written in statute that we are obligated to have in there. So that's why I'm saying that.
And I'm just bringing that to be awareness of that the parents' rights aren't taken away, but yes, we want to protect the child. So we need to, I think, watch that too, so we aren't taking parents' rights away also.
Okay. We're ready to move on to item B? Yep, okay. So new business, item B, approve the 2023 through 2024 fundraising activities. This is enclosure number 8 in the packet. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Johnson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the 2023 through 2024 fundraising activities as printed in our packet as enclosure number 8. Any discussion?
I was just wondering when the purse bingo was gonna be.
I don't know.
That looks fun. Yeah, it says in November, but we'll just have to watch
Usually
it.
put that, I think, in the shopper.
It just didn't pop out to me, I guess.
Who's doing that one?
The dance.
Oh, the dance team. Okay. It's a full sheet. I had one quick question on this. So I see there's some raffles and other things. Who owns the gambling permit?
So you just have to work with someone that has a gambling permit. The robotics team a couple years ago, for a couple years, we kind of piggybacked off of the cross-country team because they actually had
The permit, okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot of work. You have to make sure you're following all the state laws. You have to hold on to the tickets for 7 years, 5 or 7 years. And just even how you print the tickets.
And who can print them? Yeah.
And who can print them, they have to be numbered and have to have certain specific information on it. And there's a lot of, not easy to have a legal raffle.
Okay, so they're all being
on the up and up.
On the up and
Yeah.
up there, so perfect. Okay. Any other discussion or questions on the fundraiser? Okay, with that, we'll move to vote then on approving the 2023 through 2024 fundraising activities as printed on enclosure number 8. All in favor, say aye. Oppose? Motion carries. To approve the 2023 through 2024 fundraising activities as printed in as enclosure number 8. Okay. Item C, set our public hearing dates for the proposed property taxes payable 2024.
We're proposing at the board meeting November 27th.
So I should probably read that whole sequence, shouldn't I? Well, yeah, I'll read the sequence once and then we'll make the motion and then we'll do the discussion. So the Department of Revenue has established a sequence of events and assignment of reporting responsibilities for the county, school districts, and cities to follow in establishing public budget hearings. All initial and continuation hearing dates selected must be held after November 24th and no later than December 28th, 2022. Would that be the correct year on this?
I would not do it.
Should be 3.
We'll make that a 3.
Okay. No later than December 28th, 2023. The continuation hearing date selected must be at least 5 business days, but no more than 14 business days after the initial hearing. Hearings may not be held on a Sunday or holiday. If held on a day between Monday and Friday, the hearing must be held after 6:00 p.m. at any reasonable time of day. The public hearing or hearings may be held on the same day as a regularly scheduled meeting, but must be handled as a separate meeting. So recommendations, the hearing date would be Monday, November 27th, 2023. And the continuation hearing date would be scheduled on Monday, December 18th, 2023. The location of both those would be at the district office here in Olivia, Minnesota. And the time would be at 6:30 p.m. for both the hearing date and continuation hearing date. So the timelines, on or by September 30th, 2023, we must certify the truth in taxation and continuation hearing dates to county auditors. On September 25th, 2023, our regular meeting here, we must adopt the proposed 2023 payable 2024 levy. On or before September 30th of 2023, we must certify the proposed 2023 payable 2024 levy to the county auditor. Then on November 27th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m., we would hold our public hearing in the district office. And then December 18th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m., we would have a continuation hearing, if it's necessary, here at the district office in Olivia. Then on December 18th, we would, that should say 2023, correct?
No.
2022?
It's always back a year.
Oh, that's back a year.
Yep.
Okay, so December 18th, 2022, the regular meeting, that's when we would adopt the final 2022 payable 2023 levy. And then on or by December 28th, 2023, we would certify our final 2022 payable 2023 levy to the county auditor on or by December 28th, 2023, where we notify the Department of Education of our final certified levy. Keep in mind that if our proposed maximum for pay in 2024 is less than the pay 2023 levy, we are not required to hold a truth and taxation hearing. We will not know our pay 2024 levy amount until later this fall. Even though we may not need to hold a hearing, we still need to set a public hearing date at tonight's meeting in order to keep within the requirements and deadlines of the school district levy limitation and certification calendar. So is there a motion to approve the public hearing dates for proposed property taxes payable 2024 as printed on the agenda with the change in the first paragraph to say 2023 for that December 28th date? Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to set the public hearing dates for the proposed property tax payable 2024 as printed with the date edit. Any discussion? No discussion or questions? Okay. With that, then let's move to vote on the item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries to set our public hearing dates for proposed property taxes payable 2024 as Monday, November 27th, 2023, with the continuation hearing date of Monday, December 18th, 2023 at 6:30 PM here in the district office. Okay. All right, then we need to move on to item D, which is to adopt and certify our 2023 payable 2024 maximum levy, and that would be enclosure number 9 in our packets. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Johnson.
It's been moved by member Bowen, seconded by member Johnson to adopt, certify the proposed 2023 payable 2024 maximum levy as printed in enclosure 9 in our packet. And that would be for the total after adjustment amount of $1,415,612.45. Is there any discussion on that motion?
So this is, we're not levying that. That's the maximum a school district that we could levy. We're not levying anything with this. But if we don't approve this language, and we do this every single year. If we don't approve it, this language saying approving the maximum levy, and we put a dollar amount in there, and then the state changes something, we wouldn't be able to levy more than that. So this is just kind of a formality. Again, we've done this every year as.
So the 3.41, that's the percentage of the increase, percent change?
In what?
Under where it says, where he read the 1,415,000, see over way off to the right, the 3.41, is that up 3.41?
It's up a little bit, I think, but again, we're not levying that.
No, I understand that, I'm just saying, that's what it'd be up
If we did the maximum.
exactly.
Yes.
So the increase would be 48,000 over what it was.
But let's say the state decided, oh, we'll let them do up to 2 million. If we certify the maximum, then we could still do that. But if we certify this number, then we would not be able to go anything over that.
And how do we come up with this number?
Oh,
Who comes up with the number?
it is a massive 39-page, Amy.
Yep, the state of
Spreadsheet.
Minnesota provides us with this document. They calculate it based on all the levy and the tax dollars and the housing values and things like that. Yeah, so it comes from the state, this is printed from our MDE.
I'll email that spreadsheet out because it's impressive to look at, and it'll blow your mind that somebody sat down and took the time to put this together. And it's just for one little small part of what we do.
I know, I just wanted to state that for the record so everyone listening
Yep.
knows that too, how that's come up with.
Okay, any other questions? So let's vote on adopting to certify the proposed 2023 payable 2024 maximum levy. All in favor, say aye. Oppose? Motion carries to approve the adopting and certifying the proposed 2023 payable 2024 maximum levy. Okay. Item E, that is going to be approving our substitute teaching rates effective September 15th, 2023. With substitute teaching of 1 to 30 days in the district at a rate of $200 per day, and substitute teaching 31 days or more in the district at a rate of $225 per day. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Benson to approve substitute teaching rates effective September 15th, 2023 at $200 per day for 1 to 30 days in the district substitute teaching, and $225 per day for 31 days or more in the district substitute teaching. Any discussion? Jim, you kind of brought up a little bit earlier on this. Yeah.
I'm assuming this is the new practice that a lot of people are trying to do that.
Yeah, we didn't know entering into this program that we were gonna have to pay this much, but it's sure nice to be a part of this because we're, like I say, we're able to get substitutes now that, I had somebody's husband, we had somebody's wife call up just saying, hey, I don't work these days a week. I'll sign up to do that. So it's already paying out for us.
Any other questions or discussion around item E? Okay, with that, then we'll move to vote on approving our substitute teaching rates for $200 per day for 1 to 30 days in the district, and $225 a day for 31 days or more in the district, effective September 15th, 2023. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries to approve our substitute teaching rates effective September 15th, 2023. Okay. On to item F. That would be to approve Denny Spielman, our Director of Building and Grounds contract for the fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. Is there a motion? That's enclosure 10 in our packet.
I have a quick question before
Well,
we start.
we still need a motion before we can do discussion. So is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Johnson. Okay, now we can go on to discussion. So Sam,
Okay, I just have a question because all of these are all so different. Do they okay, and I don't remember doing this. I mean, I remember going through this in the past, but not exactly the steps that take to go through these admin ones. So every 2 years, they come to you or you go to them and say, okay, your contract's up. You negotiate with them directly. So each contract is so totally different. And that's what they themselves negotiated with you for. Is that correct?
Yeah, so what I typically do now is I take their current contract and you can see, we
Right.
just made cross outs and updates, so any changes are in red
Okay, so I
or
just
crossed
got a
out in black.
quick question. So how come on, let's just say the director of buildings, he's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 holidays he gets paid for. And then the next one gets paid for 4, and the next one gets paid. I mean, why are they all so different like that?
Again, we were just, Amy, do you want to add something?
Partly because he year round and some of the others do not work 24 months. So some of them are certain contract days, like some are 215 days.
Right, and I saw that.
So that makes a difference on the holidays they pay. So like if they're off in the summer, there's a lot of holidays that don't qualify. They're on a typical school year that are like holidays that we don't have school on already. We don't list them out, but it's just would be your, so Denny on the Director of Building and Grounds, he works 24 months. So like Thanksgiving would be a normal work day, and because he doesn't run on a school schedule, that's a holiday for him. Whereas, for example, Mr. Benson runs pretty much with a school calendar, and his would just, Thanksgiving isn't necessarily a holiday for him, for an example. So that basically is why, based on how many number of days they have, how many months they work, or contract days they have,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
yeah, because I was just like, oh, wow, so this one's got this, and this, but this one got less and.
Yeah, again, I didn't invent any of these. It was just kind of based on whatever they had been working off the prior year, or 2 years in these cases.
So did we contract somebody to do the lawn service now? Is someone doing that?
Yes.
And how about snow removal?
Right, yeah, we have help with snow removal as well, yeah.
Lawn service.
Because we were getting so many complaints that stuff wasn't getting done. We needed to get it done.
So for this 13.6% increase, I'm just wondering
Who
about
has a 13.6% increase?
the buildings and grounds.
No,
No.
13?
no,
It'd be a 5% increase for the 2023, 2024 over the previous year, and a 5% increase for 2024, 25 over 2023, 2024.
Okay.
So it's a 10.
is,
Yeah,
10%,
over 2 years, yeah.
over 2 years. If we eliminate some services for him to do, is there a reason why we're doing that kind of a increase in salary?
He wasn't mowing the yard.
No, well, sometimes he had to because we didn't have enough people, but I mowed the lawn when I was principal. Sometimes you just gotta go out and get stuff done. And I didn't get paid to do that, I just did it because it needed to get done. We're not taking away duties from anybody.
How many hours a day is his contract?
He's 8 hours a day, but he does work more. Like, we had a fire alarm go off in Bird Island. He was back up here in that Bird Island, doesn't get paid extra to come back here and do that.
Well,
Or
no,
if
salary
it
usually
snows,
doesn't.
Yeah, if it snows early and he has to be here and clear sidewalks off to help, he does. They still do move some snow. It's just not the big, large amounts are contracted out. But like the sidewalks and all this stuff, our staff still does that.
Sure.
So where did you come up with the percentage for the raises? Just,
We negotiated.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't gonna go above 10. He wanted more. They all want more. We do what we can. It's important to be able to keep good people.
I would imagine this is comparable to other districts in the
It
area.
is, it is. It's
We're actually probably still under
probably a little
other
bit lower.
districts.
any other questions?
how come it says 260 days? Oh, that is 260 days, fine. Okay. I was thinking 365, but
Yeah.
don't really want to work Saturday and Sunday now, do we?
Right.
Any other questions around approving Denny Spielman's contract? Okay. With that, then we'll move to vote. All in favor of approving Denny Spielman's Director of Building and Grounds contract for the fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25? Say aye.
Hi.
Oppose?
Nay.
Motion carries. Denny Spielman's contract is approved. Okay. Let's move on to item G, which is to approve Margaret Fleming's contract, Director of Food Service contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. That's enclosure 11 in our packet. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Member Johnson and seconded by Member Bowen to approve Margaret Fleming, Director of Food Service contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to ask about her paid holidays. Is Margaret working in the summertime for food program? I was wondering why she's only getting paid for 4 when she would run into June or Juneteenth and 4th of July. She should have 10 also.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to put
I was
those on
wondering
there.
that same thing.
Her contract, previous one was 200 days, this one's for 220 days.
Would they have food service on those
She has
days?
less, she does have less contracted days, and the food service program is closed over the 4th of July,
That's
the
right, yeah.
program is. So she would typically be here anyways.
How about Juneteenth?
Usually it starts right after, the week after that is when our summer program starts. That's when the migrant program starts as well.
Okay, so right now she's getting paid just for New Year's Day, Christmas Day, Labor Day, and Memorial Day, but not New Year's Eve day and Christmas Day, because they're,
Well, so the
It's-
other thing to take into consideration is they are salaried, so whether they're here or not here, they're still paid, like
Right.
they're same, but typically based on how, we had looked at other ones, and that's what she agreed to.
Again, these have been in existence, we haven't really changed much.
I'd
We-
like to see her get 8, but that's just me, personal for paid holidays.
Right.
They're paid regardless, cause
Well, even so,
Yeah.
but she does a lot,
she
she's
does
got a
do a
lot.
lot, she does,
Spectacular.
She's here all the time.
she is, and works Sundays almost every
know.
week.
That's what I mean.
I had a couple of you ask me some questions earlier today just about it, and I just wanted to just clarify some things on here. There was, on her previous contract, you'll see that during the summer, she was paid $3,200
Yes, I saw
for
that.
the summer. Well, I'm not sure why that was listed separately. She was getting it anyway, and we're trying to be more transparent, so I just thought, let's take that, let's put it right on the one number. No, it's right there. She was getting it anyway. I don't know why it wasn't hidden in the back, but it sort of was, because if you didn't look at that, you wouldn't realize she's already making that money. So we added that on. It made it look like a much bigger increase than it actually was. We added 20 days to her contract. She does all of the free and reduced lunch application collecting now, which that's a big duty and it's an important one because people don't like to fill those out. And parents are much better when they have elementary school age kids to fill them out. But then I don't know if they get tired of doing it or they don't want to report anymore how much they're making or whatever. I don't know. But as they get older into the high school age, they stop it. And then what happens is we start losing funding because it has nothing to do necessarily with, doesn't have only to do with getting a free lunch. It has a lot to do with other state and federal programs. I apply for grants a lot that it asks, what's your free and reduced lunch percentage? And so the more accurate that can be, the more money you're going to be able to get through grants and things. She does additional reporting for this new free lunch program from the state. So all students are getting free lunch, but it's not free for Margaret because she's got to do a ton of reporting again. She's now also doing all of the depositing for all of the food service money, so that doesn't walk down to our office now. She takes care of that. And then just talking to her, part of her negotiations is she works a lot of Sundays.
So in her contract too, it shows that she doesn't even get vacation pay.
Yeah.
So she
I was
has
looking
no
at that
vacation
too.
pay.
So you can
she's got
add
less
things.
Holidays.
You can add things wherever you want. It comes down to most people, if they've got like a PERA or TRA, they're better off making that money onto a salary because your retirement's based on your high 5 years of employment. And so if you bury something into, hey, we'll pay more for your insurance, well, that doesn't necessarily reflect on your high 5 pay.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's kind of some of the, like I was saying before, you
However
have
they
to
wanna
look at
put it.
something as a system.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have method to our madness. more days, that would just come up with something else.
Yeah.
But we did give Margaret a larger increase because you know she works on
Oh,
Sundays.
absolutely, I know she does,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been in 5 or 6 different schools, this by far the best school lunch. Everybody complains about school lunch, in every school out there. I won't name the first school I worked with in southern Minnesota, the corn, we would be very disapproving of their corn. It tasted like the smell of Ajax. I'm not making this up. It was terrible. That's just an example. And Margaret goes on Sundays because the government commodity lists get released. And I might be saying this a little bit incorrectly, but she works on Sundays so that she can actually see those lists and get it ordered before other schools do it on Monday. And so we're able to stock up on a lot of better product, simply because she's going that extra mile on a Sunday.
Yep.
And sometimes it's 6 hours. She puts in a lot of work.
Yes, she does. I got a question, Amy. When it says 4 paid holidays, should that be 1, 2, 6 then, or
It was, I missed one, thank you.
3, 4, 5, 6?
Thank you.
7, 8,
Either one.
meaning Thanksgiving and
Good Friday.
Good Friday? I'm just,
Well, the nice thing about Margaret too, is she always works her vacation, like the summer, like she works her vacation around everything, like.
oh, yeah.
She is fantastic. I just wanted to clarify what Jim said about the deposits, like, she takes all the student money that comes in from food service for the their lunches for a la carte items, and then she brings a large sum, she has it totaled to me to take to the bank to deposit. So she doesn't actually take it to the bank deposit, and I second count it, and then we go.
All right, so I guess I had that backwards.
I'm gonna need an amendment from a board member to the motion to substitute under number 2 holidays, strikes 4 and replace it with 6. Make that amendment.
6 or 8. Because the ones that aren't on are Thanksgiving and Good Friday, and everybody else gets Thanksgiving and Good Friday off, and she wouldn't.
They don't typically work them days anyways.
You see that?
Well,
The
Denny
main
does.
thing is that she gets her 220 in, and she definitely puts her 220 in as our end goal, that she just does her contract days, however she chooses.
But she also, yeah,
Because we got them all spelled out in Denny's, that's why I'm kind of confused why they're spelled out so much here, and if she's getting paid for it anyway, shouldn't be
But
spelled.
she's not year round, like technically, she doesn't have a 260 day contract, she only has 220. She was only 200 before, so now she's at 220.
Okay,
The only thing is all those days land in the times that she works, all those holidays.
I mean, we can put them in, it doesn't change anything for her.
Yeah.
Doesn't change anything in her costing, it doesn't change anything in her days worked or her
because she's
salary or
contracted for
anything.
200.
oh,
It doesn't change anything at all.
okay. I think, yeah, if we just
I mean, I
change,
can look at it to have them all listed out there for the next go round, I'll make a note when we do it the next go round, unless you want me to sit and list them out and change your contract now. We just
no,
want to be able to let them today.
that's fine, I mean, I just, as long as she agreed to it and she's
She did.
okay, then
Yeah.
next time around, we'll just try and spell it out.
Yep.
More. So we'll change that from 4 to 8.
I made a note of that, Sandy, thank
So
you.
we're gonna make it, okay, so who's making the amendment?
I'll make the amendment to strike 4 on number 2 for holidays and change it to 8.
Is there a second to the amendment?
I have a
Oh.
question,
I'll say.
how are we changing it to 8 when there's only
To
6
six.
days
We've only got
listed?
6
There's
listed.
only 6 listed.
Oh, yeah, we keep thinking we wanna give her 8, it's only 6.
I know, but how come Good Friday and Thanksgiving's not on there?
We'll just have to rewrite the whole thing. It's not gonna,
It's not gonna change
She
anything.
still gets paid.
We
we can't
She
approve
still
it
gets
today
paid
if
because
that's.
of it. because of
I was along your line of thought here, and that's why I added New Year's Eve day, Christmas Eve day. And then when Amy and she started pointing out this exact thing to me, that it's not changing anything in her contract, so
Okay,
it's sort of, it just didn't get removed.
we just wanna make sure she gets paid for those, I mean, she works a lot of extra
Right, she
Sundays
does.
and everything.
Yeah.
That we
She
wanna make sure that, I mean,
And then
those
I'll
are the
add
kind
it
of
to the
employees
next
you
time, I'll
want
just
that
list
kind of
them
go
all
over
out
above.
The next go round of the contract.
Right,
Okay, so
Do I need to make that amendment anyway to strike it from 4 to 6?
Yes,
Okay, on number 2. So I,
I'll second.
okay.
and a second, okay. So right now we have a amendment on the table, under number 2 holidays on Margaret Fleming, Director of Food Service contract. On number 2 holidays to strike 4 and replace it with 6. That amendment is made by Jacobs and seconded by Bull. Any discussion on the amendment? Or I'm sorry, Benson,
Benson.
yes. I looked one way and yes. It has been moved by member Jacobs and seconded by member Benson. Thank you. To strike 4 and replace it with 6 on the amendment. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote on the amendment, which is to strike 6 and replace it with 4 under number 2 holidays. All in favor of approving the amendment, say aye.
I,
All opposed? The amendment carries. Okay, now we'll, is there any more discussion on the contract with the approved amendment? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we will now move to approve the Margaret Fleming, Director of Food Service contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 22 on page 1. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve Margaret Fleming, Director of Food Service contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. Okay. Give me a second here. Need to make a quick note. Okay. Let's move on now to item 8, which is to approve Brett Benson K through 12 principal contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bullen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve Brett Benson K through 12 principal contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. Any discussion?
Please explain the sabbatical leave and why we have that in there.
Because we've just never taken it out. So a sabbatical leave would have to be brought to the board, presented, and then the board would have to approve that. I don't think I've ever seen a board approve a sabbatical.
Can we strike it, make an amendment and strike that and get rid of that?
I wouldn't, because I can try to take it off next time, it's just, he's not gonna get one. I wouldn't recommend giving someone, here's why you might do it. You might do it because somebody's got a really good opportunity to maybe advance their education, or there could be a good reason for doing it. But it would have to be a pretty amazing reason for the board to grant it. It's archaic language that is just hung around, so I can, I mean, we can strike it out of there, I guess. It doesn't matter. Brett has to sign it after we do. The worst that could happen, he'd say, no, I want to have that in my contract, and I don't know why he would. So I guess I don't care. In the end, it doesn't.
Let's make a note and maybe get rid of it next time around. Or whatever. If you-
It would go smoother right now if we
Yeah.
did that. Again, he's gotta present a fantastic reason why we would pay him a portion of his salary for a year. And like I said, I don't ever remember in my time in the classroom this happening for anyone. I've seen leaves of absence to do things like that, but I've never seen a sabbatical.
So we would have an option to table this to the next meeting if we want to bring that back and discuss it with him. Or
I guess I just approve it as is because
He does have to come to the board anyhow.
he would have to come and explain why he would need this to you, and you'd have to be like, yeah, you know what? That's a good reason. And I can't imagine what that good reason would be. So
I'll just make a note for next time.
I'll talk to him next time about getting that out of there. He wouldn't care at all, I don't think.
And I just questioned too, the amount of his salary increase. And the only reason I'm questioning that is because we hired an assistant principal and an interventionist, some other people to help lighten loads around here, where I don't understand the need to have quite that substantial of a salary increase.
Well, for one thing, it's important to pay somebody competitively, so they don't go elsewhere. And, you know, people, it's a big job. He's worth every penny of it and more, so I don't think, when you look at all of the other increases, with the exception of mine, which I was fine with the 2.5% increase each year, but these guys need to do better so that they don't get swiped up by another district.
How far off are we from other districts our size with a salary like that for?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know, but
Do you have?
I know that,
For a few of the area ones that I did check on a list that I had we were off by about 7,000 to 10,000.
I know
Most
that,
districts our size are paying around 100,000 per principal. With that many years in classroom, even like this position is much more paid for a lot.
So my calculation was a 4% increase each year. 92,820 over 89,250 is 4%, and then 96,545 over 92,820 is 4% in the second year. And most cost of living was gonna be 3 to 3.5 anyhow, so it's slightly above cost of living. Any other questions or discussion around approving Brett Benson K through 12 principal contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25?
You do evaluate them each year?
So you keep those evaluations in their files, and
I think I put it in there. We'll have to check.
you probably should be putting them in
I
there.
might not have.
So somebody wants to come look at them, you probably better have those.
They're not,
Well, they're
we
not
can't
public.
disclose them, they're not public yet, no.
Any other questions, discussion around item H, approving Brett Benson K through 12 principal contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25?
No, I just think our administrative team works really well together.
Yeah, you'd have to give me a lot more than 4% increase to do that job. So, thanks, Brett.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, with that, we'll move to vote. All in favor to approve the Brett Benson K through 12 principal contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve Brett Benson K through 12 principal contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25 as printed as enclosure number 12. Okay. Item I, approve Derek Flan, the AD/Dean of Students / Community Ed Coordinator contract for the fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. That's enclosure number 13. Is there a motion?
So
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Member Bowen and seconded by Member Johnson to approve Derek Flan, AD, Dean of Students, Community Ed Coordinator contract for fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. Is there any discussion?
I just got a couple questions. When it says D under 4, the site manager would be paid $50 per event. What is that?
So we hire a site manager to supervise all of our home events. We have to. So they get paid $50 to do that.
Okay.
And if he is going to be the site manager, it's the $50.
Oh, so he's not, it's not
Oh.
everyone he has to be at.
No.
So
No.
give me an example of like a girls' basketball game. You have,
So if
pick a,
Brittany sometimes,
Brittany does it, she gets $50.
okay, so they,
he organizes the
Brett
schedule,
never
we make
does
sure
it,
they got somebody there.
yeah, so they're there at the beginning and then they wait till the end until everything's out and everything's
Yeah,
clear.
make sure
according
they
to
find
this.
their locker rooms, and
Yeah.
if somebody gets hurt, they find the biohazard
Okay.
kits.
And then I have one more. The activities director shall be eligible for up to $2,000 for expenses related to attendance. Where's that national convention at usually?
I'm not sure, he's never gone, they typically rotate from place to place, he's never gone though.
Okay.
But it's common to have that in AD's contracts.
Any other questions, discussion on the contract for Derek Flan? Okay, with that, we'll move to vote on item I, which is to approve Derek Flan, AD / Dean of Students / Community Ed Coordinator contract for the fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item J is to approve the superintendent goals for James Menton for fiscal year 24. That's enclosure number 14 in our packet. So these were put forward by Jim as proposed goals. So is there a motion on the table to approve the superintendent goals for James Menton for fiscal year 24?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the superintendent goals for James Menton for fiscal year 24. All right, let's open this up for discussion.
Todd had asked me to put some goals together to present to you guys at this meeting. Of course, all of the referendum stuff is still going on, and he and I talked about this, Monday? I think, and we both agreed that these are two important things that need to get done, and our website we struggle with that. Everybody, at best, we just don't hear a complaint from someone, but we do get a lot of complaints about it. And I think I've probably talked to every one of you at some point about the website, so put that on there. And then, of course, the LTFM plan, getting that to a 10 to 15 year detailed plan. Because we keep hearing questions about that, so.
And I'll just point out that these would be based on the overall arching themes of our school board goals that we had approved back earlier this year. So that's why they're in there. So,
And in line with the strategic plan as well.
any questions? Any discussion on the goals?
I would like to see more on the financial side too here somewhere, like a little spot, keeping the financials in on the budget.
Amy's doing a fantastic job with that. Where we are so better off today than we were a year ago.
We must be because it's like,
Where we came in, it's unofficial, right?
Unofficial, just under $3,000 under budget for last fiscal year. If we think of the budget stuff, so we actually came in under budget.
And that was after we got hit by some like last minute things that had to go in last year's budget that were fairly substantial, so. Yeah, we're doing very well, and she's doing the job.
good job. You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was there something you'd want to see reporting wise to add as a goal
No,
or do something?
I just,
Well, so we talked to,
There'll be some financial aspects on all the LTFM and the maintenance plan, because there you're looking at building the financial plan over those 10 to 15 years along with the facilities working together to,
yeah, they do go hand in hand.
yeah.
And we talked about, I initially had looked at a goal of doing quarterly updates, and I mentioned to Amy, how hard is that? And she said, we're doing monthly updates in every board packet, so we're actually getting far more than I was gonna put out there.
I think the best part of it is we were able to compensate our staff and compensate our people accordingly so that they're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
We were able to retain the people that we have. We have a good team.
Oh, I definitely agree with
Now we
that.
can focus on our building.
We, you know, the only major problems that we have are, we can't afford the facilities updates. That's why we're going to a referendum. We can't any longer afford to pay for them out of our general fund. We went for decades without having a bond, and now we're just we're paying a little bit for that, so. But it's gonna happen.
Is there another goal or something you want to see changed based on what we had set for school board goals and what we have in our strategic plan that you want to see added? I mean, that's why we're bringing it here, is to discuss it.
And I think, I'm open to, if you guys want something done, we'll discuss it. I'll do it.
Any other comments or changes or anything? Okay, then I think we're ready then to vote on item J to approve the superintendent goals for James Minton for fiscal year '24 as printed in enclosure number 14. So all in favor of approving those goals, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to approve the superintendent goals for James Minton for fiscal year '24 as printed in enclosure 14. Okay. Item K would be to accept the resignation of Ally Johnson, school board member, effective September 26, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Bowen to accept the resignation of Ally Johnson, school board member, effective September 26, 2023. Is there any discussion? I'll just simply point out that the resignation cannot happen until it's put in writing and given to the board chair, and that I received this past week. So that's why it's on this month's agenda.
Thank you for your time, sir, Dad.
Sorry it wasn't longer, you guys.
Like that.
Any other comments or discussion?
You should go and
Thanks.
hope the kids adjust well to school.
They seem to be. It's a great school.
She's met some of my relatives down there, so.
Oh, yeah, about that.
They're not related by blood, no, you're fine. Thanks, Frank.
So
Still sorry.
I'll point out that I assume Ally will abstain from voting since it's
Right.
on her. She's the subject of the motion. So any other discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye to accept the resignation of Ally Johnson, school board member effective September 26, 2023. Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to accept the resignation of Ally Johnson, school board member effective 26, 2023. Okay. Item L, that's to discuss and approve the process as outlined by Chair Frank to appoint an individual to fill the seat vacated by member Johnson until a special election is held in 2024. I assume you want to hear the process before we ask for the motion to, and the second, is that correct?
No.
Yeah,
Yes, okay. So in doing this, it's outlined in state law that after a certain, depending on the number of years left in the term, then a special election has to be held. But you can appoint an interim person into the vacated seat until the special election can occur. And there's nothing in law that says what date the special election has to occur, but it has to be done, within a reasonable time. So I had a discussion with the Minnesota School Board Association with their SME, their subject matter expert on this whole thing. And the process that I propose that we do is to put together basically an application with the questionnaire, and it would be no more than 6 questions on it. And that would allow each board member to put 1 question on the application. So it would have your basic information, of name, asking if they're a resident in the district and so forth that you would do, plus 6 questions that we would develop. So on the application. So we would put this together, open it up to eligible members in the district that would fill out the application, and we would post it in the paper to make sure, which would be the register, because that's our official paper that we're filling a vacant seat and applications are available. What we would do is take those applications, we would review them together as a board in a work session. And in that work session, go through, discuss, vet, and come to a general agreement. And if, for example, we're a board of 6 members, let's say we had 3 members say, I want applicant A, I have the other 3 members saying, I want applicant B. We would then go to where we would bring those 2 applicants in. We would do an interview process if we need to with those 2 applicants to come to consensus on who would fill the vacated seat. And then we would, at a board meeting, vote to appoint a person to that vacated seat. Then in 2024, we would have a special election. The individual who potentially is the interim, fills the vacated seat, can run for the special election. They may choose not to, possibly. And depending on the timing, you would have, let me think, February, April, May, August, or November of 2024 to do it. If we were to do it in those first 3 months, then the district would burden all the costs of holding that special election, which you're gonna have to remind me. I'm thinking that costs at least $40,000, $30,000.
it's around 30,000. Amy, do you remember what the exact, approximate?
It's a lot, it's like
It's
30,000.
significant.
It's a significant amount of money.
But if we wait until the August or November, when the general elections are, then the district won't have any cost involved. Plus, the other part, if we wait, then that gives the interim person enough time to get set in the position. Because they may potentially only be in, if we were to do a February, they potentially can only, in theory, could only be in a position for 3 months. And in all honesty, that doesn't treat them well. It doesn't treat our voters in the district well, that a representative comes in and only serves for 3 months. That you guys all know it takes time to get adjusted onto the board after being board members. So that's what I propose as a process. So with that, would there be a motion to go forward with that process?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So it's been moved by Member Sheehan and seconded by Member Bowen to go forward with the process that I verbally outlined to appoint an individual to the seat vacated by Member Johnson until a special election is held in 2024. And we're not going to set the date of the special election at this point with this process, but I'm just outlining that's the potential of when the special election would occur. So.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So they could put it in the paper, they could put it in the shop, or we could put it on
The website, yep.
So we could do it in more places. So it gets
Yeah.
further out there.
Yep. So, and it is possible we'll get no applicants. We could get one applicant for the position. We could choose to either move forward with that one applicant if we so want to. We could also choose not to move forward and we could start the process over. So we have flexibility, based on what we're hearing from constituents in the district and what we're in trying to fill the position with someone. So there's no outlined book on it has to be done a certain way. There's actually, surprisingly, there's a lot of flexibility in how we do this. So. Any other questions, discussion? Okay, well, let's move forward then to vote on that. So all in favor that we approve the process as outlined by Chair Frank to appoint an individual to the seat vacated by Member Johnson until a special election is held in 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So I will get that out to everyone to submit questions to me to accumulate, and I'll get them put in, but, okay, on a form. And we'll try to get that out here in the next few weeks, I'm hoping, at the latest, so. All right, upcoming dates. So first one, October 23rd, 2023, we'll have our school board meeting here at the district office at 7:00 p.m. We also have the tours in the Olivia facility on September 26th at 7:00 p.m. And the meeting spot for that will be in the cafeteria. And then a second meeting on Sunday, October 15th.
Yes,
And what time is that?
that one's at 6.
At 6:00 p.m. for another school tour here in Olivia. And that will also meet in the cafeteria as well, I assume?
Yep.
Okay. Any other upcoming dates?
Wonder if the FFA
Oh,
breakfast again?
this coming Wednesday morning, so today's the 25th, so it'll be the 27th, 6 to 8 a.m.
Yeah, to go boxes.
I don't
Bring a
think-
plate.
Can they get it to
I'll
go,
bring something.
audience member? Doesn't know. Okay.
I think they can.
They usually
Two paper
can.
plates, one on top of the other.
Yeah, let's put it in that pocket.
Do you deliver?
Get there early, because I usually get there at the end and there's no more pancakes. Or there's like the remnants of pancakes.
All right.
And they don't tell you that until after you've made your free will donations.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh,
Straight in the pan.
there's a bacon left.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second? It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Sheehan to adjourn. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor to adjourn, say aye. Opposed? So motion carries to adjourn at 8:41 PM.
I like your socks. I'll put that on my favorite. Waffle socks? Fire socks.
Oh, you're welcome to come up and have your form signed by any board member.
I don't know if that's a conflict of interest
Thank you.
unless you'd rather have.
Couple days. I grabbed my eyes. You must be doing all right. You just said business is fine, at least started with. I should be able to get it down so much.
No. She let us know.
Those were diamonds, but.
There were, we didn't get hit.
We used that.
I don't think she was like.
I think I printed my name on.
But yeah, we take them. We just gotta break them down. We'll see what happens.
Thanks for coming. Caleb, I think I printed my name on one of yours and signed on the other. I think you need two board members to sign. Is that what I did?
Name and signature. Or another adult.
Cross me off on one and sign Brian. That way you're legit and you
Yeah, I
can't,
guess.
you'll get credit.
Always here. You know, when you're nuisance, you get to stay later than there. They hired you for the same year.
You know, I want to fix it while I can.
Yeah, she always seemed like an old timer to me. You need something signed too? Oh, did Amy talk to you about signing something?
No, but I'm not. I was visiting with a retired. Custodian.